Easy RV teardown from start to finish. If you haven't seen our shit show setup video that we did maybe about a week ago, go back and check that one out first. As you guys know, setting up can be the most stressful part of the camping trip. Teardown is actually a little less stressful. First thing I do is I have to clean the camper. I start by doing the dishes and making sure everything is dry, completely dry, because for us, we're part-timers and not full-time. We're not just going to the next location. We're probably going home and putting our camper away for 2 weeks, possibly a month. And so everything's got to be dry and put away properly. I pack the fridge tight. I pack the camper tight, make sure nothing's coming out of those bins while we're going down the road. Double checking the cabinets, making sure nothing's going to be banging around while we're moving. Put away all my decor in their proper location, which isn't much, as you saw in our setup video. I only set up a couple things to keep it easy, so putting it away is not a big chore. I pack up both the bedroom and the bathroom. Usually that involves just putting all the dirty clothes in the laundry basket because it's coming right out of the camper when we get home. And packing up the bathroom as far as like putting things in the cabinetry so they're not shifting around during the trip. Then for me, I clean the camper. And I know that sounds like, oh, I don't want to clean the camper, but I actually don't want to do it when I get home. So we'll do it before we leave. Once everything's put away, I sweep with a broom. Then I use my Swiffer. There's no carpet in our Sport Trek, which is great. So I don't even have to bring a vacuum. We just use a regular old cheap little broom and a Swiffer to kind of mop the place up. Takes 5 minutes and you're done. Shake out the rugs, clean off all the countertops. I wipe down the stove really well so there's no like food or crumbs, so when we do put it away we don't get critters. I'm cleaning the bathroom, unfortunately, but it's got to be done. Someone's got to do it. So while Jarrett's tearing down outside, this is what I'm doing inside. And I'm cleaning the toilet, I clean the shower, put all of our shampoos away. Like, we are packed and ready, so when we get home I'm just taking our shampoos and our dirty clothes and our clothes bags right out the door. All nice and clean. Bags ready to go to put our clothes in when we get home. Ottoman's up. Couch pushed back into the slide. Windows closed. Dinette's clean. Floors are swept and mopped. Food is secure. Cabinets are almost secure. Just make sure we're good up here. It's just a little plastic. We're good in here. Here. Light off. The pantry is good. I'll take out that last trash. And we're looking sparkly clean. Ready for the next trip. Let's pull in the slides. At this point, I'm telling Jarrett I'm done. Once I'm done cleaning, I'm usually done using water because I had to use it to clean, the bathrooms or wash my hands afterwards. So at that point, I say, Jarrett, I'm done. You can shut off the water and the electric, really. Then I'm just checking for obstacles around the slides, making sure the windows are shut. Bring in the slides, bring in the awning, and I basically put the ladder up, lock the door, and I'm done. My part is done.
So while Valerie's inside doing her part of cleaning up the camper, and I do jump in where I can there, I start kind of organizing my stuff outside. So the last thing that I normally will do is pull the water and the sewer if we're on full hookups for a couple of different reasons. But what I do is I kind of help her straighten up. I get all my stuff put away inside the camper, kind of clean up my areas, if you will. And then I head outside and start pulling down things like I can get to while the slide's still out and while she's still trying to do maybe dishes or she's got the bathroom to clean up. So if I'll pull out like the camping side X chocks, I'll pull up. This travel trailer has 4 stabilizers on each corner. I'll pull them up, get all my blocks, kind of start doing. And what I do with all my stuff is I'm not a real organized person, so this is just for what it's worth, but I kind of lay my stuff out as organized as possible by my pass-through bay. And I kind of stack it out there how I want to put it in. And then as she's getting her stuff done, she might say, hey, I'm done with water. So at that point, I'll shut the water off. And the reason I don't unhook my sewer hose is while I'm doing everything else, I will plug my black rinse nozzle in. And I will let that joker run for a long time. And I let it run until there's no more trash or the water is clear coming out of the black tank. So I plug it in. That thing might run 15 minutes. I just don't get in a hurry with that. You know, that's fine. And so while that's running, you know, I start pulling in the rest of the stuff. I might roll those cables up and unhook the cable television, and I'm just carrying stuff up to where it goes toward the front of the camper. So our pass-through bay is the very front of the camper, and that's where I'm starting to stack stuff out. So while I'm waiting on it and I'm pulling stuff away, I will always go through and put things away, like I'll hang the bikes up on the back of the camper. I will put the chairs away in their storage bay. And there's a lot of little stuff that I can put away and not like shut down the camper. So, you know, I'm not really trying to shut down the camper until Val's done. Because again, we're trying to keep this stress free. And so if I shut her off too quick and she doesn't get her stuff done, it's no longer stress free. Hey Val, you done with water yet? So I'm just kind of waiting on her, and she'll holler out the door, "Hey, I'm done with this," or "I'm done with I'm done with the water. I'm done with," and so that's kind of how I know. Like those are like my audible cues not to get in a fight, and so then I start moving things around, and then really, you know, it's kind of like there's no particular order, and you'll kind of see my hat cam video as I'm doing things. I'm just picking up stuff as I need. Once the slide comes in, at that point, I will normally shut the water off for the rinse nozzle, and then I drop my shower water. Now I will always, the day before we leave, if we're somewhere very long on full hookups, you know, like a day, maybe 2 days before we leave, I close off my gray tank and put as much water in that tank as possible. That way I can get my sewer hose cleaned out, and instead of smelling like sewer, it smells like shower water or whatever cleaner Valerie just used in the camper. And it kind of, I won't say it like sanitarily washes out your hose, but in my mind, just for peace of mind, it sanitarily washes out my hose. And I have 2 hookups, and so in this camper in particular, I have 2 gray water tanks. I will normally drop the front water, and then I'll wait on it, and it takes a period of time, and then I go back to the back gray tank and I'll drop that water. I have not hooked up both tanks at the same time, just because we haven't really been anywhere long enough for that. What about you done running any appliances? If I unplug it, the lights will stay on, but the battery, you'll be running on battery. Are you cool with that?
I guess. I don't know.
I'll wait. Water is still dirty.
Hi.
Huh. Done here, so I'm going to lock this one. I'm going to lock this guy. That guy. Still getting crap, well, not crap, but just water's not clear yet. Once it clears up, I'll shut this off and do the rest of the tank. I'll leave the power on until Valerie pulls the slides in. And really, I'm about done. Out here, I gotta put some stuff up, but kind of like put all my stuff up at once. I'll back off those 2 blocks there, and then I'll put everything up. Still not figured out my bikes yet, how I want them. They're in here to get home. I'm not gonna take them off, and they're on there good. But I think I put the handlebar down just so it doesn't hit the back of the camper. But I think what I may do is end up flipping these around. Like maybe take this one and spin it the other way. The black bike is all the way through, higher bar, and just doesn't seem to work as well. What you doing? You done? Yeah, we're going back home. Enjoy your week. Pull that chalk now. Done with this guy. Done with this. Turn and pull. It comes right out. See, I just see paper and stuff come out here, so let her run. It gets cleaner every time. Watch it for a couple minutes and make sure there's no paper or kind of trash that comes out of it. Looks good. I got plenty of water pressure here. So there's still water coming out of the black tank. We'll go on and pull the gray. Get rid of that water. That's just shower water there. Just waiting on tanks. Change my gloves. Water's still running. Always kind of try to wait until the water's out of here. I don't mind if there's a little bit of water in my black tank because it kind of keeps anything from setting up in there. But I try to keep my other tanks as dry as possible. So I'm going to close this guy here. That guy. Water's all but stopped, so let's drain the other tank. What I'll do here, I try to not make a mess. So this tank here is nothing but dishwater. Try not to travel with too much water just because it's weight. My truck will pull the weight, that's not a problem. It's just, I don't ever want, try to keep from having to blow out. So the less weight you carry, the less likely you are to blow out. Less heat in your tires. So, pulled my chocks, didn't I? She's got that locked, those are clear. While I'm waiting on that, I will raise this guy up.
This is where I get really impatient, waiting on this water to run out. Speaking of tires, Valerie catches this part. You should always pay attention to the date code on your tires when they were built. So this year was built in the first week of 2023. So that's one thing about these campers, is if you don't pull them a lot, you know, you'll really probably never wear out your tire. But they get to a certain point that they will just dry rot and get old. You need to replace them. And believe me, you don't want to replace one on the side of the road if you can keep from it. Is this thing still loose? Oh. Still draining. They can make that hose bigger. That would make life so much better. Not the hose, but this pipe. She was 1.5 inches or 2 inch, whatever this is.
So once everything's kind of pulled away, you know, I put my sewer hoses away. I keep a plastic bag to keep the little screw-in thing for the black tank, just because, again, sanitary reasons. Everything away. I'll hitch my truck up, do all that. Again, this doesn't take very long for me to get all my outside stuff done. Hitch my truck up, hook it up, turn on the lights. I always just turn my parking lights on, make sure all my trailer lights are working. And then while I'm checking my trailer lights and doing my walk around the camper, I'd walk around my camper and look. Did I leave an extra chalk in? Or is there one of those little black rubber chalks from Hobo Freight? Are they on the ground? I don't want to leave those things behind. And just give it a good look around of, like, what do I have? Am I missing anything? Am I leaving anything behind? Is there a kid somewhere that I forgot that went camping with us I need to put in the truck? Making sure it's all done.
Get that locked on. So put this on here. I know some of you are going to tell me you're not supposed to do it like this, but I've been aiming to pick up a carabiner and just haven't done it. That's on. Y'all seen me do that. This needs to go over here. I always put these back in this way. That way, something hits it, does knock it out.
And then, you know, at that point, we jump in and we head out. And, you know, and again, I mean, I try to keep my stuff to the minimum. I will say on that note, how I stack my stuff in my bay is I always try to put the stuff that I may need on the road closest to the door. If I have a blowout, if I need to have a fuse or something that goes out, a drill, whatever I need, I try to keep that stuff accessible. And one thing that I do with that is I have a Milwaukee electric impact, a big one, and a set of impact sockets. I actually leave those in the back of my truck. So I put those, you know, right next to my tailgate. It's my jack is close there, and that's in just in case I have to pull over on the side of the road. I can get my stuff out, get a tire change, and get back on the road as quick as possible, because who wants to change a tire on the side of the interstate? Not me.
Way off. jack doesn't sound right. Hey Val. So speaking of loose things, ever since we've had this trailer, and I haven't towed it real far once we bought it, we've kind of camped close to home, but I've always kind of had a sway issue, and I know the travel trailers sway, but I'm like, man, I've got a much heavier truck than I do trailer. I shouldn't notice sway too bad. And so I called Plano Mobile RV Repair, and if you're in the Bowling Green area, you need somebody, he's good. He came out and he helped me set my hitch. But what I found was these bolts here were loose. And the guy who set our hitch up at the RV place just ran it in with an electric impact, which should have been probably good enough, but honestly it wasn't. And so it worked loose, and these washers inside of here were loose. So this head was flopping back and forth and not really putting much weight on my torsion bars. And then my torsion bars, which is this bracket right there, this thing here, was also loose, letting it kind of work back and forth. So this is a Fastway E2 hitch, and we put these big bolts are supposed to be torqued at 250 pounds, and I ran this down my Milwaukee, and we still probably put a turn on these bolts before we got them completely tight. So coming back, my hitch, we didn't have the sway. I almost think I got too much weight on these bars right here, so I'll probably adjust the hitch a little more. And then see what we got going on from there. So one thing about these hitches is it's always kind of it takes a lot of tweaking, even though the factory sets them up for you. And don't mind all this white stuff, I sprayed grease on it. So, but yeah, so I mean, keep an eye on your hitch. The loose hitch can give you a lot of sway. The sway can cause you to wreck, so keep an eye on it.
So once that's done, man, we're done. So I'll get in the truck, and me and Valerie will start talking again, and we'll be, we'll try to. Or maybe we won't be talking for a period of time. Depends on how all that went. But if this was helpful, like and subscribe. And on our next video, we'll talk about